Hi, I'm Riley Robbins, and I'm doing my persuasive speech on why masks should not be mandatory. So, the CDC says that we are required and recommended to wear masks. Disagreements will arise because there's a lot of people who don't want to wear the masks. Big reason is that it affects your breathing abilities. So if you already have breathing problems, that's going to affect your health even more. So we need to handle these situations with care rather than violence, which has been led to a lot of violence. And the mask itself is not very effective because it depends how you use it. You find people sometimes with their nose hanging out, or like they're switching their mask out a lot. So there's a lot of germs that are being put on your face. Now there is a mortality rate of about 3.4%, which we did the calculations on the CDC Gov website by comparing the total number of cases and the total number of deaths. It's supposedly a 97% survival rate. And the people who are more at risk are 65 and older. So people that are 65 and older or have certain health risks should be the ones that are more on top of this in the fact that they need to socially distance more and they need to wear their masks correctly. Private businesses should be able to create their own policies rather than listening to the government and what they say, because the customer comes first. And whenever you go to a store and you want to buy something and you can't because you're not wearing a mask, I believe that is very unconstitutional. Individual rights are being neglected, as said in the Constitution, because the goods and services are being refused to people who need those goods and services without, if they don't have a mask. So businesses need to compensate for customers that have the breathing issues and that don't want to wear the masks, because they found out that there's a lot of confrontation whenever a customer is refused service without a mask. Customers deserve to choose to wear a mask, and I've recognized the difference between states such as being in Florida and being in Colorado. One's Democratic, one's Republican, and I see that the enforcement of the laws is weighed a lot heavier in a Democratic state, being that they have their occupancy shorted to 25%, and they are subject to being fined if they do not comply within the laws of the state. So this really just hurts the economy, and it divides people, and it's making everything seem like the mask thing has become a cultural war. So it's definitely arising a lot of violence, and it's very controversial because there's the people that want to wear a mask and there's people that don't want to wear a mask. And people like me who don't want to wear a mask just see it as maybe I'm okay, I'm going to be fine, because I like to think of myself as a healthy person, and if you're healthy, you can fight off this immune system a lot better. So wearing a face mask presents a false sense of security, and that social distancing would better prevent the virus than a mask. So healthcare workers are provided with more efficient masks, and they use them better than the average citizen, so why shouldn't masks just be a decision? The constant wearing of masks is shown to have negative effects on one's breathing abilities. Suggested by a man that crashed his car when he was wearing an N95 mask for too long. The crash is believed to have resulted from the driver wearing an N95 mask several hours and subsequently passing out behind the wheel due to insufficient oxygen intake and excessive carbon dioxide intake. So whenever you have these masks on, you're breathing out carbon and oxygen, and they're breathing in carbon dioxide. So that is not healthy, and he ended up passing out and crashing his car. And this was a quote. So the CDC states if you have difficulty breathing, you are not required to wear a mask. The masks have been proven to be a health risk because you breathe out the oxygen and you breathe in the carbon dioxide. And then you can get a sore throat from that, which is a symptom of the coronavirus. So let's say you have a sore throat and you think you have the coronavirus, you go get tested, and somebody there has the coronavirus, and you get the coronavirus from simply wearing a mask and not being able to breathe properly. So there are several misconceptions of using a mask so as to replace your mask, wash your hands, and keep your mouth covered and your nose covered. So these masks are not essential if you don't use them properly. And I've seen all around the world that these are not being used properly. As far as whenever I traveled to Colorado. The thing is, this is a quote, the thing is, you're touching your face, which by now you've heard a million times we shouldn't do. We have picked up the virus from touching a dirty object, and then we could transfer it to our face, infecting ourselves. So people, there's certain people that are at higher risk, and these are the people that really need to protect themselves. So people at higher risk of symptoms, according to the Mayo Clinic staff, includes people of older age, lung problems, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, weakened immune system, chronic kidney or liver disease. They need to have extra precautions. And being healthy, it creates a stronger immune system to fight off this virus. And according to Psychology Today, the ways in which you can boost your immune system include reducing stress, sleeping enough, consumption of immunity-boosting vitamins, reduce of the use of inflammatory foods and drinks, and exercise, of course, and avoid toxins like mold. Masks are more essential for people with underlying health conditions. If you live a happy and healthy lifestyle, you should choose not to wear a mask and recognize its negative impact on your lungs. This is still a new virus, with lots of controversy centered around how the virus spreads and in accordance to wearing a mask. So everybody thinks that wearing a mask is the answer, and I'm here to tell you that it's not. If you were just a healthy and happy person, it couldn't get to you. So I'd rather not wear a mask and worry about my health as far as breathing goes. So in conclusion, I think it's patriotic to think about the well-being of others, but you should consider your own personal health when the mask creates breathing deprivation. Individuals should have a choice to wear a mask. If you feel you do not want to wear a mask for personal reasons, the person beside you should allow for you to live freely as you see fit, because it is our God-given right to live in peace and tranquility, mask or no mask. Thank you. You guys have any questions? I would say that, would you say that wearing a mask is a choice, should be a given choice?
I really like what you said, that regardless of whether you wear a mask or not, it should be a choice. And also with the restaurant owners, I think that they should be able to have their own policies. I don't think it should be enforced.
And in fact, my dad owns a restaurant in Lake City, Florida, and we are operating at full capacity, and I only see a couple people in there with a mask a day, and they're the older people. They're usually older people because they're at more risk. But I also see elderly people not wearing masks because, you know, this could be a fake kind of deal going on here. So I think that it's a cover-up. Yep, just saying. It's a cover-up. They're trying to hide it.